Hello, welcome back to Retro Cheese Review, where we review cheesy movies from my childhood. With me today is my lovely wife, Felicia. Felicia, say hello to everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Let's give her applause. There we go, yeah.
Actually, can we restart that? I'm going to actually close up your
No.
door. No?
Okay, we can restart.
Or we can just hear. I'll just cut out the footage. I'm going to close this up because I hear both.
You can do it, edit and post. Do it live! So, as I was mentioning, we are reviewing today one of the greatest sports movies ever made about hockey. No, it is not The Mighty Ducks. It's D2 The Mighty Ducks.
Whoa.
Because we have that rule that if there is a cheesier sequel, we have to review it. And just like the case of Ninja Turtles, the third one is just hot garbage and not even worth reviewing. So, getting into a little bit of this movie, it was made in 1994. It has a Rotten Tomatoes critic score of 20% and an audience score of 59%. And it's funny, I was like, it's got to be at least a little bit better, the first movie, because the first movie it's about the same. The tomato score for the first one is pretty well in the tanks too. And I didn't even see, let
It's
me see
not
what
in
the
the full
third,
cinema.
let's see, the Mighty Ducks 3. Ducks 3, I don't even, because it's bad, the third
When
one
did that
is.
come out?
96, just 2 years later. Oh, wow. So the critic score is the same for the third one, but the audience score goes down to 45%. I gotta
I don't think
say,
I've ever seen that. Is Emilio Estevez in that?
for like a minute, like everyone else is in it, but we don't want to get into that garbage. Or the
I've
Mighty
never
Ducks
even
game.
seen it, so.
Yeah. Or the Mighty Ducks Game Changers, which I forced myself to watch 2 seasons of. I didn't like a minute of it, but my childhood demanded it.
You liked
Um,
it.
I, it's bad, but I still watched it. I don't
That
know,
tells me you watched it week by week, so that tells
and I
me.
knew it was bad while I was watching it, but I
So did
still
you hate?
watched
Were you
it.
saying you hate watched it?
Not even. It was like, well, maybe it'll get better, and I've watched so much of it trying to see if it would get better that I still had to follow the plot. I was somewhat hooked. Um,
and then, and then the next season's gonna come out, and you'll be like, "Oh, Marty
I'm
Duck
gonna,
is out."
I'll still watch it. So,
That's commitment.
before we really dive into the plot of this movie, this movie came out when we were both pretty young. This one and the first, I would say this one was actually more popular than the first, even though it wasn't as good.
What year did that come out? I was
The
probably
first, probably like,
94.
this was 94. The first one came out in,
I think I might have been 8 years
I don't
old.
know. The first
Nah.
one came out in 92, so there was only a 2-year gap between each movie. Disney was just cranking that shit out the way they do nowadays. Yeah,
Yep.
Eisner in charge, and he's like, more! They're making money! More! The good old days when Disney was running sports teams instead of running Star Wars. But getting on, let's let's do our nostalgia review. So my first time watching this as a kid made me go out and buy a hockey stick. I couldn't skate, but this movie made me go out and buy a hockey stick. I sucked at every sport I played, but I was still like, yeah, hockey, knuckle puck, all that bullshit. I would have given this as a kid easily 4 out of 5 cheeses. Easily. How about you, Felicia?
I mean, I can't remember if I saw it in theaters or not. Probably not, but just in general, any of those like feel good sports stories made for families, I probably would have like as a child, I would have given it like 1,000 out of 10 because I would have
Yeah.
been like, oh, the Ducks, they beat everybody. Oh, they're so cool. They're so cool, you guys. Oh, it's a feel good story.
Yeah. So, getting into the plot. This is a sequel coming off of the original movie. Original movie, very quickly we do the plot. Emilio Estevez is a douchebag lawyer, does some messed up stuff, gets a weird prison sentence where he has to like coach a pee-wee hockey team. The reasoning because he used to be a very high level minor league hockey player at one point and then quit it to become a lawyer. I don't remember exactly. Him and Charlie Sheen did a lot of sports movies back in the day. But you know that they end up they're a ragtag group and they win. That's the movie. That's the whole plot. If you really want to see the original Mighty Ducks, watch the South Park episode.
Coach, please don't let us lose to Adams County. My daddy will beat me again.
It covers it pretty well. So
it really does. Except for one thing. I mean, I'm not going to mention it because I don't want your video to get struck down.
That's a bad Felicia. So
what?
I mean,
I'm just saying that's the differentiator.
Yes. So getting into the second movie, Disney does what it does with every sequel. Like, this was popular, but let's make it more unhinged and less based in reality and get them hyper kids just fucking hyped. For the shit. So this one, they go from being a pee-wee hockey team to I always thought it was the Olympics, but they're in the Olympics Junior Games, which makes a little bit more sense.
It's not as good.
But for some reason, so basically Emilio Estevez's character, Gordon Bombay, it's supposed to be afterward. It inspired him to quit being a lawyer and go back into hockey. He's in the minor league and about to get to the pros. There's and some dude just fucks up his knee royally. I don't know. And now he's like all bummed and stuff. And then his German, mentor decides to put him in for the coach of the junior Goodwill games. And he gets it, and he decides instead of me building a team of the best kids in America, I'm just going to take this ragtag pee-wee hockey team, and that makes up half the fucking roster. That way, it's more special for the audience.
All of them are from fucking Minnesota.
Well, yeah, no, it's all it makes sense because that's hockey. But they decide
Minnesota.
They decide to take them, but they need another half of the roster. The other half of the roster is built by this guy who's sponsoring the team, basically, who hired him. And they're all people who aren't great hockey players. They're so fucking weird. It's like, well, this is a quirky batch of characters. Look at this guy. He's from Austin, Texas, and he can lasso people and talks about cows. Even though, like, Austin is, like, not like that. But Texas, And
that's the thing. Even Austin back then was like not like yeehaw. It was still like big music capital, but not a very yeehaw type of place.
But yeah, they have him. They have the Asian kid who used to be a figure skater. There's the hormonal teenager into metal that just likes to beat people up. And just this other whole ragtag group of characters, including the girl goalie, which gets almost no screen time and has the personality of a cardboard box. She's just like I want to play. Put me in, coach. I would like to play.
It's like, I'm a girl. Do you have a personality? No, I'm a chick.
They already had the token chick from the first movie, but they needed a token chick in this movie also, so that there's now two women on the
two women,
twice the women, twice the token. Yeah, twice the token women, twice the token girls, and now there's two black people on the team. That's literally like they just that they had.
They did a diversity, Trev.
Yeah, checking the list. Which they did, but so they get into this, and for some reason their main rivals are Iceland, who are just full of slick back hair douchebags. It doesn't even make sense. Like, does Iceland even fucking play hockey? Their main rivals should be Canada. Like,
I don't know,
Canadians,
but apparently they're all big pieces of shit because they have slick back hair.
Yeah, they beat the Canadian team, I think, pretty easily, but like Iceland.
Well, why? But maybe because it's like, Iceland.
But there's no fucking ice in Iceland.
And
they're like Vikings.
I never really associated Iceland with hockey or skating.
No,
I always associated
nobody does.
Canada with... I
It
don't
would
know.
make more sense if it was like Greenland's team. They even make the joke that Iceland isn't covered in ice. It's fucking stupid. Either way, he's coaching the Pee Wee hockey team. They're on a roll. They're kicking ass. Like, he does a montage that gets them all to skate like a team and all that stuff. But he's getting way too into himself again. And basically, he becomes, when Gordon Bombay, the coach, Emilio Estevez, has the transition to being a douchebag again because he greases his hair back. It's that fucking greased back hair. The I think you should leave is right. He looks like he's gonna go eat a fucking sloppy steak.
Sloppy steak? No. We're good guys. Let's slop them.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. A tremendous piece of
He
shit.
becomes a huge
I'm sure he's
piece of
had
shit.
many a sloppy steak.
Many. The guy, Emilio Estevez's character at this point is just going to bars, dumping water, going to steakhouse, dumping glasses of water on his steak, and just eating it like that way, making a mess. So, the whole time, they're still kicking ass, but then they lose to Iceland. They get their asses just beaten, but it's double elimination, and all the kids are, they knew every move. Meanwhile, Gordon Bombay has been dating the Iceland, trainer who's a woman, and they saw him and caught him.
I mean,
clearly
the
she's
lady
clearly
always has
she's
to be
a
the love interest, right?
clearly she's a spy though. Clearly she's a spy. The love interest though is the teacher who's also has the personality of a fucking cardboard box.
And she's the somewhat less attractive woman there, so you got to go with the humble one.
Yeah. And then, meanwhile, the fat kid from Good Burger, who wasn't in Good Burger yet, because this is his first movie. I know he's on SNL. It's Keenan, but he's the fat kid from Good Burger. Meanwhile, he's in the audience and just booing them the whole time. Finally, after they lose to Iceland, there's this whole thing where they teach them street puck, because the mean streets of LA, that's where they're fucking playing hockey.
Evidently.
Dumb fucking scene. The ringer from the last movie, Banks, he was literally the ringer from the last movie that they got. He's not the Canadian, but he's the Canadian. He's the guy they stole from the rich people team. He gets his wrist all fucked up from an Iceland player, so they need another player anyway. So they bring in the fat kid from Good Burger who does the stupidest fucking trick shot ever.
I like how you're not calling him Kenan Thompson.
No,
you're just
he is the fat kid from Good Burger. God damn it!
You're not calling him Kenan Thompson. You're not calling him by his name in the movie. It's just fat kid from Good Burger.
Kenan Thompson.
Is that his name now?
If you ever listen to this, you will forever be the fat kid from Good Burger, and we love you for it.
Yeah.
Fat kid from Good Burger, an invisible guy from Mystery Men, because Kel was. I'm saying Keenan's that. Kel was not the skinny guy from Good Burger. He's naked guy from Mystery Men. He moved on with his career more than Keenan did. Damn it.
Okay.
Getting back on the topic. So Emilio Estevez goes through this thing where he's no longer a douche. They, as I had mentioned, because they need to replace Banks a little bit. They bring back in the fat kid from Good Burger who does what every kid tried to do and ended up busting their siblings' teeth out of their face. God, that fucking scene from this movie probably caused so many injuries. Because I even kept trying to do it. And it's where they flick the puck up and smack it. It's called the Knuckle puck. I tried it. I hit my brother multiple times. I hit friends multiple times. We all tried it. Hyperactive kids with a hockey stick. Parents, if you're listening...
I never had a hockey stick, so I never got to try that.
Parents, if you're listening, get your kids a hockey stick and a puck. Show them this movie. And then buy dental insurance, though. It'll
This
be
is
fun
America.
times.
They're telling people to buy dental insurance.
Get yourself some goddamn dental
insurance.
Dentist, push this movie to your patients. You'll thank me later. Point is, they bring him in, but he can't get any shots off worth of shit because everyone's targeting him because he does it once against Russia for them to win. So, Emilio Estevez is finally like, hey, I'm the good guy now again for some reason.
His hair is no longer pushed back or slicked back.
Yeah,
it's just normal curly
suddenly
hair.
it's normal. Yeah, it's so weird. Yeah, and he's he also brings the old guy, the old German dude, who is helping them now and coaching them. So they're getting ready for that final
It's
game
like, where
against
were you
Iceland.
this entire time, asshole?
Yeah, they're getting ready to replay Iceland for the championship. Um, and yeah, they replay Iceland for the championship. Banks is back suddenly. His wrist is better, so they need someone to set out. And Charlie, who's like the protagonist of the first movie, literally the one who went on from this movie to probably have the biggest career because I always forget the actor's name. He was a child actor, but like let me find him really quick because he is the one that actually went on to have a career, and I don't think he was in Mighty Ducks Game Changer. Let me find Charlie Conway. Everyone else is going to know who this is. Oddly enough, Fulton is, as we figured out,
Foggy.
is Foggy. Yeah, and he was in the Mighty Ducks Game Changer. They didn't get Keenan for it, though. He's too big. And they didn't get
Yeah.
Charlie because of COVID. So Charlie was played... Why is it not showing? Let's go to the full cast on here. You can tell this is a professionally ran, YouTube channel right here. We're real professional. I'm gonna
We are
do
professional.
my Control F. Joshua Jackson. So Joshua Jackson plays Charlie Conway, and he later was in a bunch of shit. Like I think he was in. I don't know. He was. I'm looking on IMDb, but I know he was in more than this. So let me go back a bit. He was randomly in a shit ton of movies, but I don't remember. There was like a big show he was on that I can't remember now, but who gives a shit? You'll look it up and put it in post. Oh, that's it. Dawson's Creek. He was like the main fucking character other than Dawson.
Oh, I never watched Dawson's Creek.
I didn't. I was trying to see where
So
it
I
was.
wouldn't have known either way. And
I never
said
watched
something.
Dawson's Creek, but I'm trying to remember. So he goes on, but the point is, he benches himself to be like, because he's like, you know how I always said I'd make a better coach, but he's not. And meanwhile, they've kept Goldberg in, who's the fat kid, to be the goalie the entire time. While they've got like this girl who's considered the best goalie in the fucking country. She's like pro level, and she's just like, I want to play, coach. I would like to play. And he's like, you'll get your chance. They're getting to the final fucking game, and he just only tried to put her in once, and she got put in the penalty box for fighting guys for like being sexist.
It's because I'm a super cool lady, and I can do anything.
Don't worry, you'll get to play. So we do the whole fucking game, and he doesn't let her play. The whole fucking game against Iceland, he doesn't let her play. He does a lot of weird trick shit that you wouldn't do. The first half, like the fucking guy from Texas, he barely gets a penalty for like lassoing someone on the ice, but they even do a stupid like they disguise the fat kid from Goldberger as Goldberg. Sorry, they disguise him as Goldberg, so as the goalie. So the point is they end it in a tie, and because there's no overtime, there's like a shootout, so they have to choose their best players. And that's when they wait until the final one. They're like, this is their best player, and it's like, we're ahead by one. We'll keep tied up and have to go. I'm throwing you in. Goldberg's the one that's been the goalie this entire time, and you said you wanted your shot. Giving you one fucking chance. And of course, she makes the catch, and that's pretty much the end of the movie. That's how it ended.
Yeah!
That's a short description, but like the rest of it's all filler, like scenes of kids rollerblading, because like very similar to the Power Rangers movie.
I know.
Like montages of them going around Rodeo Drive and looking at, models at a store, because that's how you buy clothes on, Rodeo Drive.
Yeah. It was just like a bunch of montages of the kids just dicking around.
Kids being kids, man. Just kids being kids. And that
You're screwing around.
They
Screw around.
Oh,
too
and I
much.
forgot, they changed halfway through the final fucking game. Like at halftime, they changed from being Team USA to being in Mighty Ducks jerseys, where they're not even in the classic Mighty Ducks jerseys. They're in the NHL team jerseys, because Disney's got to plug the new jerseys for their pro team.
So I actually did not know that. I was just living under a rock or something, but I had no idea that Disney owned the fucking team. Like
Yeah.
they owned like the Anaheim Ducks, or I don't know what they're called now.
They
but
own everything now.
They really do. It's fucked up.
Disney,
so
if you're
fucked up.
watching, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're not talking bad. You are our overlords. That thing about Star Wars was a joke. So, yeah, so we get through this movie. Rewatching it, it's got its problems. It's cheesy as fuck, but I still enjoy it for what it is.
It was a cute movie.
It's a heartfelt
it's
classic.
It's a family. It's just a cheesy family film. It was a cash grab.
Yeah.
Everybody happened to be available at the time, and the Mighty Ducks. I guess it was a good secondary movie to, even though the first one didn't really even need.
The third
any
one, they're
sequel.
in college, which somehow the girls are even on the same team, but that's not how it works in college.
Don't worry
hockey. But yeah, like it's weird. As a kid, I liked this one better, but as an adult, I realized that the first one was written a lot better. But this one had the fat kid from Goldberg, from Good Burger, from Goldberg. Yes, it had the fat kid from Good Burger.
Sounds like the fact from the jeweler down the street,
who can still skate because of this movie.
Yeah, I remember. What was it? It was like
it was
like
an SNL Christmas thing, and he's just like spinning around, twirling on the ice. And one of our friends I didn't know that Keenan. Yeah, I didn't know Keenan could skate, and I'm like, he was in Mighty Ducks too.
And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. And he was in the third one too, right? I think.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I'd have to look.
I don't think I ever saw the third one.
I don't know if he was in the third one. I don't know. He was in like right after this. All that started, and then he was in that one where he was at like a fat camp. Heavyweights.
Oh, it was like
Heavyweights. Heavyweights.
That's right.
Yeah. So
that's another movie we should do.
We should do that. So like rewatching this, I would still give it probably the same rating, like a 4 out of 5, knowing that it's a bad movie, but I still like it. But that's the whole point of this damn channel, is that there's bad movies that we can still like.
I think I would give it like a 3 out of 5. Like
3?
As a kid, I liked all those feel-good movies, and I could just pump me up, especially considering I never got to play sports. So, just kind of imagining myself, on the ice or whatever. But going to art school and learning about filmmaking, and I'm like, yeah, it's got its issues, but it's a fun movie. Shitloads of filler. I mean, pretty solid for just a cash grab movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think 3 out of 5 cheese things.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Well, thank you all for watching. I know this is a bit of a short one, so I'll make Felicia add a bunch of filler in the edit. And yeah, like and subscribe. Definitely subscribe. I'm desperate. I have 94 subscribers, and I need 6 more so that I can get the cardboard play button.
And be sure to leave hate comments for Rob. You can't forget that, Trev.
Leave hate comments for Rob. We hate Rob on this channel.
We
at Retro Cheese Review hate Rob.
Fuck Rob. You need to leave a comment stating why you hate Rob so much. Like,
yes.
What pisses you off about Rob? And
also just leave comments about what movies you want us to review. Really torture us. Find some really bad ones.
No, in all seriousness, choose some like movies that maybe we had never even heard of, that we might even have trouble finding, because like we want to review some cool shit.
Yep.
Or bad shit. I don't know.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Bye.